Yes, people. Welcome back to GunnersHub. Oh, it's a good day for us Arsenal fans. I can't lie about it. I can tell by the smiles on these guys' face, you know. Good day.
It's a good day. It's a good day.
It's a good day. It's a good day to be alive. Good day to be an Arsenal fan. Obviously, a quick recap. Nottingham Forest 2-1, Crystal Palace 1-0 to Arsenal, and Fulham 2-2. We'll quickly run through the recap on the game yesterday. Manchester United, I think we've got to touch on that quickly because, you know, we're going to touch on Havertz. So firstly, guys, we're happy with the Manchester United 3-1. Rice played a massive part in that. Very, very good goal. Fantastic. And Jesus, now, what an impact he was. Fantastic. It was
and Reece Nelson as well deserves his flowers.
Yeah. So, moving on. Havertz. Is he a good sign for us? I don't know who to go with first. The negative, it's a hard one. Rashawn, tell me, is he a good Arsenal signing?
Yeah, but I think he's a good signing for us personally, because we needed something different in the team, and you've got to remember that the position he's playing in at the minute, he hasn't played there for a little while. He was more playing up top for Chelsea, and now he's kind of playing in that Xhaka role. So, I think, if we give him time, he could come good.
Yeah, I also agree. There's a lot of and ahs about him at the minute, performances and things. So we will have to give it time. Unfortunately, he's, fans will say he's not hit the ground running, but we shall see. Tess, what's your thoughts on the Havertz signing? Is he a good signing? Will he prove to the fans? Will he, change our minds? And, will he be a success in the future for Arsenal?
If I'm honest with the Havertz signing, he's the wrong type of player for this point in time. I've said it before as well. If it was 3-4 seasons ago and we were fighting for 7th, 8th place and we needed to buy players to develop them into superstars or to work on them, or if they were short of confidence, short of form as well, he would be someone you would buy with the hope of improving. But right now, considering what's on the line for this season, it was an incorrect buy. Now, if it's a case of we give him 6 months and he turns into a world beater, that remains to be seen. So is Havertz a bad player himself? We're going to find that out one way or another, because Arteta has got no intention whatsoever. He's made it pretty clear he's sticking with this guy. And so we're going to find out one way or another. But in 6 months' time, the title could be well out of our reach. Man City don't have a turn down button. And the problem with someone like Havertz is we're going to need to give him time. The real question is that time that we're going to be able to be afforded fighting for the league, because that's what we're supposed to be doing this season. So I feel like a lot of people, in their frustration, they get lost in making the personal insults or whatnot. So for me personally, I don't have an issue with the man in terms of his character. He seems to be willing. Do you know what? To be honest, even when he came through, I liked his attitude where when the video of his getting signing, it came out a bit too early for his liking. He was like, that's not the way I like to do things personally.
Yes.
Yeah.
I respected that, I actually respected that. I was like, cool. But as a man, you can tell he's got standards, But
yeah, definitely.
Now, he's so short of form and confidence.
Mm.
And any slip-ups, I've said it, any slip-ups, City are going to yam each and every point. So in 6 months' time, we don't know what the league table is going to look like. But we do know that right now, it's not good to have a player that we're carrying. And we're essentially carrying him. And with every game that people like Vieira are coming in and doing a smashing job, it just looks crazy per game, because Vieira already was doing more in 20 minutes than he did the time he was there. And even the air shot was cringy. The little air, I don't know what he tried to, I think he tried to control it and then shoot straight away, and he completely missed the ball. And I was just like, do you know what?
It was a crazy one.
When your luck is out, Lady Luck don't look after you, because that made him look even worse. So it's kind of giving cause to the whole rise of unrest, because it's almost like the Arsenal fans are split at the moment. and the amount that's going on. So yeah, is will he be a good signing? We don't know yet. What is he the right type of player that we should have bought now for 65 mil? No, he's not. He's not.
Big price tag, 65 million. When you're
very big.
Someone short of confidence now has to justify that price tag while playing himself into form and nowhere to hide because he's being started every game. Is it even good for his mental state right now? Does he have the mental strength to be able to take on the absolute extraordinary waves of criticism that he's facing from players like from fans like myself, and maybe even fellow players like Vieira's probably looking at him sideways right about now. It's like, how are you starting over me when people like the goalkeepers are getting switched out for fun? It don't make sense. There's no consistency right now in what Teta's doing when he's saying with the goalkeeping position it is a merit thing, but up front it's not. I'm starting who I want to start. It doesn't make sense. There's no consistency in the decision there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think as well the fact that it seems like he's being shoehorned in is really not helping things. Like when we were seeing Partey at right back and all these things, and it's just looking like, is he forcing it? Is he just trying to play him for the sake of it because he paid 65 million for him? But I think like what Arteta should do now is he needs to discover the actual position he wants to play him in and just put him on the bench and just bring the team back. We saw again like yesterday, once we come with the 4 at the back like we was used to, we was playing a whole lot better. And then it was like Rice and Havertz and like Odegaard as the 10. And I think Havertz, he kind of struggles in that position. He's got work rate and stuff. Like he was putting in a bit of effort yesterday, but I don't think that's his position. For me, I would rather see him as a second or third option up top, or possibly playing in the 10 role, like later on in the game when the game's more or less like, what's the word? Like finished. Like when we've won, we're winning. You know what I mean? And you can just bring him on last 15 or so, change it up a bit. Or for an option, because he's like, 6'3". So if we start getting some crosses in, maybe he can get on the end of them and that. But in the Xhaka role, I'm not feeling him in that position. I'd much rather see Rice and Partey in there. And I think his confidence has got to be a concern at the moment, because what with all the stick and like, it's not even just the fans, it's the journalists as well. His name's just going all the time. Havertz. And it's not really a lot of positive comments. So if he's listening and sort of paying attention to it, his confidence could be very low. And I think that's going to take some good man management from Arteta to just take him out of the team from starting and just bring him on. I think our next game is it Tottenham or Brentford? Who we got next?
I think is it Brentford or Tottenham?
I think it's Brentford, then PSV. Then Tottenham. So, like for the Brentford game, just take him out and have him on the bench. If he comes on, he comes on. If you don't, you don't. And I think just because we paid 65 million for him doesn't mean he can't ride the bench. Like teams like City and Chelsea, they've got expensive players on the bench what they can bring on, and that adds to that squad depth. So, whereas you look at it and you think, wow, we paid 65 mil, he has to start. I don't think he necessarily does. I mean, even like with Timber cost 35 to 40, and I don't think he was going to start. Like, I don't believe he was going to replace Ben White at right back. Maybe he was, but we didn't really get to see him at right back because he was pushed out on the left. So I think it's good to have players who cost money on the bench, and that can just add to the squad depth in general. But for now, he does need to take a back seat. And in general, I think give him a season or so, and I think we'll start seeing the Havertz from like Leverkusen days. The system at Chelsea didn't really seem to suit him. So hopefully he can find his place in our team and win over the fans. And I wanted him to take the penalty yesterday if he did get it. Like, I think that would have been good for him. Do you know what I mean? Take the penalty, score. Yeah, man.
I agree with that.
I agree with the VAR decision, though.
Yeah, VAR took it off in the end. took the penalty away. But had we have got it, I think it would have been good for him to step up, put that away. You know what I mean? In a big game like that.
Do you agree with the decision that they, didn't go ahead with the penalty, that VAR took it away? Do you agree with looking at it back a few times? You could say it was soft. You could say, did get a little clip, but was that enough to bring him down?
It looked as if it was. They were saying from like a little bit further, but it looked like his left leg had got clipped as he was going in originally. You could see him going down, and then the other player come with a bit of contact, and he went. You've seen him given. There's some soft penalties being given out there, and but I think it was one. It could have gone either way. They were trying to take it away as much as they could and say it was minimal and that. But even though they took it away, we came back.
Yeah,
we came back.
Things like that from Havertz, that quick, running
but he's got something about him, definitely.
Yeah.
And the fans just sort of need to get off his back and just think, he's a young youth. He's 24 years old. I would say at the minute, if I was him, I would be thinking, Arsenal fans don't like me. Like, they don't like me. They don't want me here. They don't want to see me playing. They don't like me. So it's extra pressure when he's on the pitch. You know what I mean? Every pass, he was at fault for the first goal, and that just didn't help his case at all. You know what I mean? And then with the miss as well, and the overall kind of like narrative is that he had a poor game. He didn't have the best of games, but to say poor, considering what's going on with him, I think is a bit deep. You know what I mean? Like we as fans have to kind of come together and back him. And that, but
touched on something a bit different.
If Arteta keeps throwing him into the fire, then he's bound to get burnt.
That's exactly what I wanted to talk about. Now, we've talked about him not doing himself any favours, obviously at fault for the goal, the air shot, but I feel like no one's doing him any favours either. Arteta's approach to playing him right now isn't helping the situation. Now, even what you said about the bench, there's nothing wrong at all with easing a new player into the team, especially one that's out of form. To throw him just straight on the pitch and say, keep having a go from start, is bad management. It's bad management of the player. And it also, what kind of message does that send to the rest of the team if the rest of the team are working their socks off and playing well, and they're having to play alongside him right now in his current form? It doesn't send a good message.
That's right.
It's a hard one, because if I was Arteta and I dropped him now, it doesn't look too great. It doesn't look good. That could also have a really bad negative impact on Havertz. He was to get 4 games that we've played, and Havertz has started every single game. So if he drops him now, that don't look good. It doesn't look good on us as a club. It doesn't look good on Arteta. He looks like he was the one that brought Havertz, and he wanted Havertz. He really did want Havertz. I think Havertz has been on his list for quite a long time. So for him to drop him now 4 games in, I think, that's going to be raising a few questions. But let's look at Xhaka. We could talk about Xhaka. Look how much he's changed. I know he had a few good seasons. He had a good season last season and the season before and whatnot.
Yeah.
But can Arsenal... We challenged Man City last season. We challenged them, and we only had 5 points away from them, So do you think we can afford to wait for players to get in form, afford to wait, 5-6 years for a player to hit form in their last year? We can't afford that.
Because we can't afford 5-6 months right now. That's the problem with Havertz. We can't afford to give him the time he's going to need. That's the problem with him. Now, everyone's talking about if we drop him, it looks bad. Keep in mind, we're about to say bye-bye to the one game a week. We're about to start dropping into the 2 games a week. There's nothing wrong with rotating. Now, under the guise of rotating, you could give the man a respite and give him a chance to get himself into some sort of form. Some extra practice sessions, some coming off of the bench after 65 minutes. And you could do that
that's
under the
it.
guise of rotation and save face at the same time. It's not embarrassing at all to rotate. It was done before he came when he was co-managing at Man City, and he can do that again. The problem is, it doesn't seem like he's going to. It looks like he's going to continuously start the man and say, just keep doing what you're doing until eventually it clicks and works. And I feel like it's not, it's such a bigger issue than just Havertz a good player. Is the way he's being managed the correct way to do it? What is the message to the psychology of the team? Because we're saying what's going on with Havertz's head. What's going on with Vieira's head right now? What's going on with Emil Smith-Rowe's head right now? Because if he's playing his socks off in training, we don't, and Havertz is still starting. I mean, how does that look to the other players? Because you can't say right now on current form, would you start Vieira or Havertz? You would have to say Vieira on current form. So how does it look to Vieira when he's sitting on the bench for 65 minutes, knowing that he's just assisted the match winner against Man U? He's just assisted last week stopping a dropping of 3 points or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't. Yeah. It's the psychology of the whole thing, not just the player himself. It's what's going on around him. Just something just doesn't seem right about it. And to address the Xhaka issue, we have to keep in mind Xhaka wasn't bought when we were fighting for the league. We were fighting to get into top 4, fighting to get into the top 6 Europa League. If you bought Xhaka this season and tried to do what you did, you would get the exact same reaction. It's the expectation of the club. You know, the fact that, okay, cool, due to injuries or form, lack of thereof, we lost last season's title. But it wasn't something where Man City beat us to it. We almost gave it away through injury and poor form. But we don't have that excuse. We've spent 200-300 million. We've got rid of who we needed to get rid of. We brought in your own selected players, and one of your selected players isn't carrying his weight. It needs to be addressed.
Yeah, definitely it does need to be addressed. And like you said, other players like Vieira and Smith-Rowe must be wondering what's going on. But I think as well, like rotation, a good bit of rotation. You've got to rotate these days, and what with more games coming on to just, we've got Brentford play Vieira in there possibly if Partey's not back alongside Rice, and then after maybe 70 minutes depending on the game, then bring Havertz on if needs be. But I'm hoping that like Smith-Rowe and Nelson start getting more game time as these games are coming in. Like it's going to be important. It is going to be important. And I think from Arteta's point of view, maybe he sees something different in Havertz. The fact that he can be quite, he can win the ball back like in the middle sometimes. He will get stuck in, and he's got that work rate, like with the passes and everything. So he's almost as if he's trying to do like a inverted type thing with him playing in that 6, but at the same time playing as a bit of a 10. But then I think that may not work because we've already got Odegaard doing that job. And I'm glad that Arteta wasn't stubborn at the weekend to stick with the 3 at the back business, and he actually set it back. So, it's going to be a tricky one. But I don't think Havertz will need that much time. He shouldn't do, really. And now I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, a month max. Like he's training with the team every day. He's played 4 games, so he must know how our style of play and what we're doing by now. So he should be picking it up. But I think that extra bit of weight on him is just, it's just a bit much. I mean, he scores that goal yesterday. That's about maybe 30% of the weight off your shoulders. 100%. You go on to win, even better. A little assist or so, but he's just got that constant pressure. It'd be like almost going to a new job, maybe in a new department or so, and everyone's just on you from the off. They're just on you, like, because, I don't know, you're meant to be the top of what you do. So everyone's just on you. Now you're just almost scared to put anything wrong, you know what I mean? And so there's a lot of pressure for young shoulders. And Arteta could possibly come out and defend him a bit more and just, but let the fans sort of know what it is he sees in him or what he's looking from him. Like the reason I'm playing Havertz is because I see that he can do this, this, this. He's good in transition, or like when, say, other players are getting the ball retention, they can lay it off to him, and then he's like waiting to find players to lay it off to them or so. But like we need to know, because at the moment it's just looking a bit mad, and it's not fair on the player. Really.
No, he's not fair.
Really
not fair on Havertz. Yes, we can criticise and have our opinions, but the amount of pressure he's got so far is crazy, considering we're only 4 games in.
But the pressure came from the surprise of buying him in the first place.
Absolutely.
I don't think anyone saw that coming. Now, you mentioned before, so there was a couple of points I wanted to address. You mentioned before that Arteta's had his eye on him for a while, but that is news to me, because even when we were first linked with him, everybody's eyebrows went up. It's not even an exaggeration to use the word everybody. We were all very surprised. I didn't even know it was serious at first. We was all making jokes. Memes and stuff was coming out, and then we actually bought it. Now, when you're and to obviously address the analogy as well, when you're a new person at a job, you have to prove yourself. The problem is, if you go into that job and you're not performing, the pressure doubles, triples overnight straight away. Okay, I need 4, 5, 6 months to get up and running. I've been bought and I'm being paid to hit the ground sprinting.
Yes.
Now, Timber was able to do that at half the price, half the wage capacity.
You've got
Rice has come in almost, I won't say double because that's a massive exaggeration, but Rice has come in at almost double, but he's hit the ground running, so to speak. He's doing his thing. He's even
he's doing his thing.
If the goal was a bit lucky, all right, fine, but you know what?
We'll take it.
Still a goal.
Nobody's going to remember how we won come the end of the season. They're only going to remember that we won if we were lifting the trophy. No one's going to care if the goal was lucky or not.
That's
right.
Havertz
doesn't seem to have the luck. He doesn't seem to have the correct type of management, in my opinion, because constantly throwing him out there and exposing him to all this criticism, that is one of the main issues. If he was someone you were easing in and bringing on 65 minutes, maybe half of my arguments disappeared. If he came in and he hit the ground running, he's scoring goals, he's looking good, he's got the fight and got the energy, I've got no leg to stand on. This podcast doesn't exist. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. I feel like the way he's being treated, the way he's being approached, the way he's being managed, and currently the way he's playing is giving me legs for my argument.
Yeah, no, you got some. The thing is, I agree, and the thing is, I watched Arteta's press conference. I think it was this week. He was saying that the fans will see. The fans, there's a player there, and
what's he on? Sorry, like 250, 350 a week. He's on something crazy
like that.
So, that's not 6 months' time money. That's right now money.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That's a big way. That's almost Aubameyang money. I think Aubameyang was on. And keep in mind, when Aubameyang lost form, Arteta dropped him. It became a massive thing, which eventually led to him being kicked out of the club. So it's not to say that he hasn't dropped his biggest players before. He just seems to not want to do it with this particular guy.
Exactly.
He's done it before. We have to keep that in mind.
But
that also, I didn't have a big problem with our backup goalkeeper, and he was a Gunner as well. He was an Arsenal fan. He got kicked out of the club because he weren't right for the club. I didn't have a problem with Aubameyang, but Aubameyang got kicked out because his attitude weren't right and he was out of form. Havertz is out of form. He's still playing though.
Yeah.
So what we don't understand is the reason for the backtrack. When all around Havertz, the exact opposite's happening. If you're not playing well, you're out.
But at the same
special treatment as well. It does.
Same time though, I don't think he's done bad. We haven't lost any games. We've only dropped 2 points. So as much as he's not been setting it alight, he ain't really done nothing wrong as such.
So once again, he was at fault for.
Well, you said he was at fault, what? Because of the corner?
He lost the ball in. No, he lost the ball in mid. Oh, the corner was horrible. The corner was horrible. That was a horrible corner. You know what? Let's use the Man United game to wipe the Fulham game from our memory, because it still hurts. It still hurts. Those 2 points missing. Not as much as the Timber injury, because I don't understand why our luck had to do
Oh,
that.
that was
to us.
annoying.
But yeah, that Fulham just feels like the game that should have never happened. The points that should have never been dropped. I feel like that game should have been in the bag with 10 men and how long to go. So yeah, that's another painful one to take. But he seems to be contributing.
And the thing is, we stopped doing.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
And we stopped doing that, conceding late goals. Like that was a thing in the past where we would concede late, but we've sorted that out for a little while now. So against Fulham, that was really bad. But yeah, just in general, I just think he's not setting things alight, but he's doing his thing. But ideally, just take him out the team, bring someone else in more suitable, and then a bit of that pressure can just ease off. Do you know what I mean? And then maybe he can get some assists and just start building up little by little. Do you know what I mean?
I think if you're going to buy him anyway, the best approach would have been to ease him in. 100%. Yeah. Throwing him in doesn't help him. It doesn't matter what you say in the press conference afterwards. If you're throwing him in like that, it doesn't help. And I think even what you were saying now, conceding the late goals, that proves your point about the defense. That there was no need to change a winning formula at the back. Unless, of course, there's something going on with Gabriel that we're not aware of. I still don't even know what the details are about Partey's injury, so even that's a mystery at the moment.
I'm hearing this is groin.
And
it would make sense because obviously Partey plays in the middle, and then he's doing right back and in the middle. You're going to rinse him. You're going to rinse the guy. Like he's doing just way too much.
Injury record as it is already, isn't it? He's one of the ones with the more like the bad injury records out of the team.
Apparently, he has missed 38 games for us. I heard the stat today. Like out of all of his injuries, he's missed 38 games, which is obviously the equivalent of a season.
That's the season, yeah. That's the season.
And these times when he was at Atletico Madrid, he was cool, no injuries. And then at the same time, I heard that our training is quite rigorous. Like we kind of go over the top. I think one or two players may have mentioned it in the past. I don't know if it could even have been the new signings, but they said, it's quite on top, like the training. And I think maybe we need to kind of relax that a bit because we can't afford these big injuries. Last season, I put that down to Saliba being injured. Like even when Jesus was out for that long amount of time, we held it with Eddie up top. Soon as Saliba was out, it started crumbling bit by bit.
The scary thing now is if that happens to us again, Saliba or Gabriel, what in the world do we do?
Finish, because then we're looking at Kiwi or there's no Timber now and Holding's gone. So probably Ben White and Gabriel, if it was Saliba, or Saliba and Kiwior. And then Zinchenko's pretty much made a paper as well. So like give him a couple of weeks, he'll be tight.
And if you give Shevchenko or Tomiyasu a run of games, they'll probably end up in injury at this moment of time. So it's looking very shaky at the back once again this season.
And then we've got no backup left back. We had KT, we should have kept him. You need a backup left back. We got rid of KT. Then Tavares, he can't even get a game. Like he's gone out alone. So we're leaving ourselves short. Because as soon as KT's out, he's just going to start looking mad back there.
If Saliba got injured, I'm sure Timber was the answer. And then obviously pushing Ben White in. But unfortunately, he did get injured. He got injured when there was still a good couple of weeks left to the transfer window. So it is something that could have been addressed. And he got injured before KT left on loan. So once again, it was an addressable issue. It's unfortunate, of course. I'm not even going to try to argue that. But I feel like there was still something we could have done about that. Either not let players go on loan that could have come in and done a really good job, or a replacement, if need be, even on loan for the season, could have done something for us.
Would you have kept Kieran Tierney?
100%. I rate him very highly as a defender, and not only that, but keep in mind sometimes for Scotland when they do a back three, he plays at the left.
Yes.
So he could have done a shift. I've looked at what's his name for Man United, the one that we tried to buy. There's a bit of a tussle between us and Man United. Then he went to Man United. The centre back.
Martinez, the butcher.
Nothing.
Yeah. Now I feel like Tierney could be doing a job similar to that on the left side of the fence. So even if you pushed him in, because there's been plenty of times he's been 1v1 on the box and done a tackle that could have been a penalty if he didn't get to the ball, and he's got to the ball. So he's done a couple of goal-saving tackles. So even as a centre-back, do the same what Scotland does. Push him in. You could have pushed him in.
True that. True. We've just got to hope that we stay injury-free and we don't pick up any injuries over the international break now.
We've got to be injury-free. We've got a lot of games coming up. You know, it's no joke. We've got to protect our players. Saka, you know, Martinelli, you know, Saliba, Gabriel, they play week in, week out. We've got to protect the players. Keeping Tierney was definitely had to be. If you're not going in the market again for another defender, we needed to keep Tierney for depth. Games, Zinchenko can't do it all on his own. You know his injury record. You know, unfortunately Timber's out, so we are very thin in the defense area. Very, very thin. Even if we brought someone in on loan. Just to cover the year, and then
something.
And Timber's back in time, give him more time to recover, so he's right ready for the next season. Or if he comes at the tail end of the season, you know, he can come back in and hit the ground running. I do think Arsenal have thought, do you know what? January's round the corner. We can maybe hold out just till that window to see who's about, because that is the window that can, you know, that's going to be the tail end of the season towards January transfer window, and that can take us through to the rest of the season. So they might have thought, you know what, we can wait till January and get some signings in then. But I don't see that happening. I think, you know, Arteta's quite stubborn with his.
We already know from the Caicedo situation in January, getting the players, the type of players, the quality of players is notoriously difficult in that window. So who are you going to get in that's actually going to come in and do a good enough job in the January transfer window?
Exactly.
And I feel like I'd go as far as to say I feel like the severity of the Champions League is being underestimated. Like the physical toll, because it's not the Europa League. You can't think of it like that. It's not no Thursday night football. The severity and the physical exertion of the Champions League is going to take so much more out of the players in midweek. Because they're gonna be excited about it. Like Declan Rice, this is his first Champions League campaign. That adrenaline rush on Wednesday, and then he's got to get up again Saturday, Sunday, and play football again. We don't even know how he's going to react to that physically and mentally. It might be exhausting.
Exactly.
He might be so excited come Wednesday, and then Saturday he hasn't got the guys. We don't know how that's going to affect. So the Champions League's being underestimated a bit here. It's not being given the correct levels of respect.
That's right.
We went wrong as well getting rid of Aston Trusty. Went on loan to Birmingham.
Did you see his games? He was good.
Yeah, he was looking good.
Quality.
And then we sold him to Sheffield United now.
For peanuts as well. Peanuts.
Yeah, we should have held on to him. Like, they were saying that he's kind of like a Saliba type player. But Arteta's not having it. We've had a clear out Cedric and El Neni just hovering. They're not even doing nothing. El Neni, has he been on the bench this year? I haven't even seen him.
I don't know if it's by the end of the season, because I don't know much about the rumours going in throughout the club.
Sambi Lokonga as well, another one.
Yeah, for certain, El Neni's not going to be a playing member of staff much longer. For certain, he's definitely doing his coaching badges.
I don't think so.
No.
You have your good and your bad days, absolutely. But I think, you know, when you're bought for so much money, the pressure's on, and everyone wants performances. That's what football's about: performance, and how you play and how well you play and hit the ground running and impact the team and the squad and results. And when you're not, stands out more than, you know, anything else. But you know, the main thing is we need to be injury free and to protect the players. And Arteta needs to be not be scared to rotate. There's nothing wrong with rotating, not too much, but tweak. I mean, give players rest, take them off 60 minutes and bring on another player. You know, they're going to have back-to-back games, Champions League, Premier League. this, that, and the other, they're going to be tired, and it will have an effect on them, their health, their performance, and the tail end of the season is when we need the players most. So now is the time to protect them. Lastly, I just wanted to quickly touch on predictions.
I think probably closer. We only was off 5 points last season, and really we should have won that. In regards to winning the title, I'd say it's too early to say right now. Once you start hitting around, well, you can't even really say after 10 games, but things start to more take shape. I'd say around 10 games, start seeing what's going on. But definitely, I think, we'll be closer. We should be challenging again for the title this season.
Definitely.
Right, definitely. It'd be nice to try and pick up some silverware, like a League Cup or FA Cup or something. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
I think personally we're gonna have to go for the league. I think based on last season's form, has to be done. My only concern is because of the lack of depth at the back, we're gonna have to sacrifice everything else to do it. I can't see us with essentially 5 defenders to rotate with at the back, being able to take Europe seriously. So as much as it hurts to say, I'm very excited the fact that we're in the Champions League again this season. But if we take that seriously, I feel like it would cost us the league and the Champions League in the process. We might get far, but I think it would cost us.
Yeah.
If we're going to go for the league, I think we're just going to have to go for it full pelt and say, forget the cups, forget all of the cups, and just go for it.
That's the thing, you see. They've left themselves a bit thin in the defence area. And
but if he does that, I think we can take it. I actually believe it. If we keep our players fit and we prioritise the league, I think we could do it.
Absolutely.
We just have to protect our defenders.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I definitely think we've got a good chance this season. We need to just push on and keep the players fit. But well, we'll see. I think we might have to do another video when Havertz, if Havertz starts picking up in form and whatnot, and he wins the fans over, because at the minute there's a bit of ruinage, but it's too early to tell. We'll wait till maybe quarter mid-season for a good handful of games, and we've watched him properly, and then we can maybe get a perspective on how he's going to do and what he's going to bring to this Arsenal team. But I do think we've touched on a good few points today. So, both of you, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure having you both and listening to both your views. I do hope we can kick on.
Thank you for having me, guys. And let's hope we get some points when we come back. Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, Gunners.
Come on, let's go.